What we're trying to do here is really wake up these core muscles, particularly the transverse abdominis, okay? So this is our cylinder shape that we're really trying to wake up. Now we're going to roll into the side, we're going to raise the arm in the air. Now we're hitting more of our oblique muscles. The internal, external obliques, good. We're going to roll to the other side, Jonah. Fantastic, mate. So we've woken up the cylinder, now we're hitting the sides, we're going to go back to the front. Generally what I'll do is 30 seconds to the front, 15 to each side, and then back to 30 seconds on the front. Alright, now the next exercise we're going to go into is the bird dog. And so like I've said, we've woken up that cylinder, we've hit the obliques, now we're going to work the back muscles. So all the posterior chain. So we're going to go up with the left arm, the right. So we're working in like our body works in a sling fashion. So we're trying to connect all this rear musculature and back to the other side, Jonah. Very good, mate. Now we'll get one more. Nice work. Okay, so that takes care of those two exercises, the plank, the side plank, and the bird dog. Now we're going to go into our modified curler. And this is really to target the rectus abdominis muscles without putting the back into too much flexion. All right, mate? So we're going to roll up from the thoracic part of the spine. That's why Jonah brings the arms forward. And we're just going to basically hold in that static contraction. So those abs are on tight. Good, mate. Go to the other side. We're just doing about 3 or 4 repetitions on each side just to keep the filming nice and short. We don't want to get too much flexion through that lower back because we do that enough throughout the day. That's why this is such an awesome exercise. Next exercise I'm about to show you is an absolute go-to if you are, just like Jonah right now, sitting with this bit of a flexed position of the back. Most people, when they sit at work and do their normal activities, or whether it be driving or other things like that, the spine is always in flexion. So my go-to exercise for this one is, I'll get you to stand, Jonah, and you're going to place your hands on your hips, and we're going to go back into back extensions. Excellent. Go back and hold for me, mate. Nice work. So as you can see, if we're spending a lot of time in flexion in our life, this is the answer to a lot of the back aggravation that people experience. So it's a really fantastic exercise to get into the habit of doing just throughout the day, right? And particularly before we start lifting weights at the gym. All right, the next exercise we're going to roll into is we're now going to target the glutes, and we're going to go with hip thrusts or hip raises. I've actually got a hip thrust machine, but you can do this one anywhere. All right, now one thing I'll say is, come down, Jonah. If the feet are too close to the butt, we're going to use a lot of quads. We want to come back away a little bit. That's it. All right, now if the feet are too far out in front, we're going to feel more hamstrings. We're going to be feeling more hamstrings, okay? So we want that real sort of happy medium spot. So if you're feeling it a lot in the hamstrings, tuck the feet back in a little bit. If you're feeling it more in the quads, take it away a little bit. Try to take notice of where you feel it. Okay, mate, away you go. Good. So we're making sure we push right through at the hips as high as we can. And we're going to squeeze those glutes at the top and hold just for a fraction. Awesome. Okay. Now the last exercise we're going to do in our warm-up routine. Now this may seem like a lot of work before you've even started to lift the bar, but I can't stress enough to you how important it is to warm up. Okay, mate. When you're ready, I'll get you to just sidestep with that. Okay, for the sake of the camera, mate, I'll get you to go back a little bit, turn and face the camera. Right, and I'm just going to get you to go across to the right. In the camera there, it'll be to the left, and back the other way. Good. And back to the right. And this here is targeting the glute medius muscle. Okay guys, on to the meaty part of the session. So what we're we're looking at here is obviously foot positioning. So what I'm going to get Jonah to do is imagine if he was going to go into a vertical leap or a broad jump. So any sort of power-based jumping movement. And that's roughly about the stance where he's going to find probably most power. So we're going to take roughly, where would that be for you, mate? Yep. Okay, so we're going to step right up to the bar. So we're trying to get the shins maybe an inch, maybe even a little closer. Personally, I like to come right up so my shins are touching. That's going to vary on different individuals. Okay, so we're pretty much standing in shoulder width. He's standing within that shoulder width stance. What we're going to do is, first of all, we're going to now come down and place our hands evenly on the bar, making sure that the knurling marks are a guide for us. We're going to push the knees hard in against the inside of, so he's going to push his knees hard against the inside of his arms. We're going to pull those shoulder blades back down and tight, so we're pulling those shoulders back down towards the back pockets. We're going to take a big breath in, brace up, and we're going to lift, drive the world away from you. Don't think about pulling it up, think about pushing the earth away from you. Okay, mate, and again. Nice. Big breath, brace up tight. Beautiful. One more for me. Lats down tight. Good job. Let's get that from a side view. Okay, so Jonah's going to step right up to where he would take his stance. And you'll notice that the knurling marks on the bar, point to them for me, Jonah. Yep, they are right next to where his shins are lining up. That's his preferred stance. You may be a fraction wider. You'll notice his hands now in tight against the shins. He's pushing the knees hard against the inside of his arms, and then he's going to stand up. Beautiful. Big breath, brace up tight. Right, so I've asked Jonah to take his shirt off so that you can see exactly what's going on with his shoulder blades and lats. Right, so what I want you to take really particular notice of is the way he pulls his shoulder blades, and he's pulling those lats down. See, our traps will raise the shoulders up, and our lats are responsible for pulling down. What we want to do when we do that, pull those down tight for me, son. When he pulls those down tight like that, he's really taking care of this thoracic part of his spine. He's getting everything nice and tight. Okay, so we're going to go through step by step. So Jonah's in his preferred stance as for conventional deadlifting. He's going to reach down to the bar. He's grabbing it evenly on both sides. He's going to drive his knees out. He's going to take a big breath in and lock those lats down tight, and away he goes. He pushes the earth away from him. One more. Okay, so now we've got a side view of exactly the same thing. Jonah's going to step into the bar. He's going to come down and take an even grip on both sides. He's pushing the knees against the inside of his arms. He's going to lock those lats down tight, take a breath, brace up, and away we go. Pushing the earth away. Good. Good. Head position. I don't mind, I have no problem with someone doing a sort of a neutral setup, so he's looking sort of just out there in front, but there is absolutely nothing wrong with looking out in front at the same time. This is a thing we've been able to do since we were babies. Okay, why are we training the conventional deadlift? Because it's just an awesome exercise. What does it target? It targets forearms, it targets the biceps and the triceps. They are in a static contraction. Obviously the forearms are grip strength. We're using the upper trapezius muscles tremendously in this exercise. We're using the lats, we're using all the erector spino muscles. Predominantly though, what are we working? We're working our core and and we're working our glutes, and we're working our hamstrings. These are the three probably big main areas that we're trying to target to develop real strength in. Okay, so why is this fantastic for athletes? Because it really relates to running, jumping, all the exercise, all the movements that we would do as a human being as an athlete or just for normal life. So that's why it doesn't matter if you're 15 years of age and you just want to get a bit stronger, or whether you're actually 65 years of age. I still think whether you modify the movement slightly, but it's such a great exercise for targeting so much muscle in the body. That's why it's absolutely the king of the lifts. So we're going to cover off on the sumo now. So I'll get Jonah to come out, and he's going to line his shins somewhat up with these knurling marks. He's going to put him roughly in his position. Now, he's stepped right up with his shins here to the bar. And with this particular exercise, because the knees are going out, they're not going to travel over the bar as easy as they would in, say, a conventional deadlift. How I line this up is where his heel is, and he looks down, the toe is going to come pretty much in line with where that plate ends up. So we're going to turn them out a little bit more. Yep. Same on this side. So if I put that down there, that's running pretty true to where the edge of that, where that plate would finish up. Same on this side. That's just to give you some lines to work with. Okay, so now when he comes down to the bar, he's going to use the most direct line, and he's going to come down so his hands are placed directly under his shoulders. Now what we're also doing here is we're getting that shin to be as vertical as we possibly can, because when the bar travels, we want it to come straight up. We don't want the bar to have to track out and back in. Right, mate? Exactly the same thing, the same cues apply. So we're going to tighten up those shoulder blades. We're going to pull those lats down towards the back pockets, or shoulder blades to the back pockets. Take a big breath, brace up, and away we go. Driving the hips right through. Good. Looking up for me. Beautiful. Once again, we've got these lats coming down nice and tight. I keep saying that, but that is one of the key things to keeping that real tightness in your upper thoracic area of your spine. The tighter we can get our body to be, we brace up those abdominals through our big breath and brace, the lats pull down tight, and everything from here through that trunk, like I said in the last video, we get nice and tight. Now, and we're looking obviously from the back view. I want you to take notice of the way he pulls his shoulder blades down tight towards the back pockets. You'll notice that the shins are running very vertically. Yep, there you go. Good. One more. Good job, son. So, because our knee is a hinge joint, we don't want turning in of the knee, okay? That's why it's really important to open that out. I mean, this is primarily what sumo is we're externally rotating the hip. But what I want you to take notice of is, as Jonah comes down to the bar, his femur bone and his foot are in the same true line. We don't want that knee to cave inwards as he does the lift. Make sure that you are really pulling open with the hips, okay? Right, son, away you go. Big breath, brace up. Good. We're trying to keep that bar running as closely as we possibly can to the shin. And if you're doing this right, you'll either be wearing your pants out or you'll be taking skin off the knee. So what's the difference between sumo and conventional? So not a lot, to be honest, where, I mean, we are working primarily here, our glute medius and our adductors. So go down into these stance for me, Jonah. So the adductor muscles here, spin around for me, mate. And the glute medius, okay. So why would we just not stick with a conventional? Because we need to develop strength in to the glute medius. The glute medius is a hip stabilizing muscle and very important for any stage of your life, particularly for athletes who may be changing direction rapidly in their sport. This is very important that they maintain good structural strength through all of those different ranges of movement that they would do. So if we're running straight, that's primarily when we're going to be targeting things like our conventional deadlift. When someone's running and they change direction rapidly, very important that the hip stabilizer, the glute medius, is strong. Thanks for listening. Hope you got something out of that.